The chip transformed the way people did business. And it also transformed the way people did pleasure. After punching out for the day, we found all kinds of techie new ways to spend our downtime in the 80s. If you were lucky enough to be a kid in the 80s, you might remember spending your allowance at the virtual nirvana called the arcade, bound only by the limits of your imagination and how many quarters you had. Once just a place to play games like skee-ball and pinball, arcades now boasted the newly popular video combat games, where you could single-handedly save the world from aliens by repeatedly pressing a button. But even more popular were character-driven games, like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. According to Pac-Man's creator, Toru Iwatani, the inspiration for the character came from a pizza with a slice missing. If you long for the games of days gone by, the Vintage Arcade Superstore in Glendale, California can resurrect your childhood with one of their restored arcade games.
Came up 500 short.
Most of our customers are people that played these games when they were kids. Some of our customers are collectors. We have some customers that are celebrities. Our most sought after products are the early 80s video games like Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Defender, Asteroids, Donkey Kong. If we don't have something, we can find it for you. We completely go through them. We redo the control panels. We put new monitor glass on them, new marquees, new T-molding, repaint the sides. A lot of times we put new side art on them. We can put new monitors in them.
Of course, Gene personally tests each game before it's shipped out to the customer. Inside, arcade games are fairly simple machines, made possible by our old friend, the microprocessor.
Power comes through the cord, goes in this transformer. There's some fuses. This is the power supply. Here's the computer board. Here's the memory chips right here. This is the microprocessor. Here's the monitor that displays the image. Then the speakers up here, the control panels in the front, and that's basically what there is in a video game.
Arcade game technology helped mesmerize an impressionable new generation. And like many electronics in the 80s, the games became small and cheap enough to come home. Sales of home video consoles like the Atari 2600 boomed.
There was some interest on the part of many parents in acquiring home games so that their children would be playing at home as opposed to going out into this unknown space of the arcade where the parents would lose control over their children. From the kids' point of view, the games that were conversions of popular arcade games for home consoles tended to be inferior, technically speaking.
Inferior or not, home video games were a hit. Atari founder Nolan Bushnell seemed to have discovered a formula that worked, at least for a while.
A 2600 contains a very, very simple microprocessor running at maybe 1 megahertz, and that primitive nature allowed it to handle only games that were two-dimensional with just a few colors and a few little objects that were moving on the screen.
Bushnell allowed an open culture of game development, meaning that other companies could produce cartridges that were compatible with the 2600. Some of the games weren't exactly top-notch.
As a result of that, Atari, in a way, kind of lost control of that platform. That led in the early 1980s to kind of a collapse of the industry.
The game makers that followed, like Nintendo, learned from Atari's mistakes. They patented and coded their consoles and insisted on strict quality control guidelines. Despite some awesome innovations in video games and graphics over the years, we still look back nostalgically on those games from the 80s.
If you poll, say, university students today, more than 50% of them have played with an Atari 2600 still to this day. It's, for some reason, it's maintained its popularity. The Atari 2600 nailed a certain kind of interactive play experience that's possible on a very simple platform. They're really timeless games.